this, so you're being recorded. So let's start here. So Ben, I'm giving you the caveat too. Ben decided to go for a walk, and so when he comes back, she gives her little like alert dog bark. So I apologize if she starts barking just for a few seconds in the middle of this, but let's go. Good girl. All right, so let's start with some abdominal breathing. So one hand on the lower abdomen, the other on top. Let's just take a moment and regroup, find our centers, and then start to lengthen out the breath, both the inhale and the exhale. So inhaling, even if we use a little bit of a counting method, so maybe try inhaling for the count of 4 and then exhaling for the count of 4. And then let's open the eyes and let's go into knocking on the door of life. It's getting a little, not too cold, but this morning was maybe, I think, the low 50s. So we're inching our way along through fall towards winter and the cold. So we'll start to open up those joints, get some movement and some heat generated. Working all through the spine, starting from the base and then coming up, so just below the collarbone. And then all the way up to the tops of the shoulders. And then come back down below the collarbone. And then back down to the waist. And then let's start to unwind. So we are going into spinal cord breathing, but today I'd like to incorporate healing sounds. So we use certain sounds that correlate to the different organ systems as a way of we'll use the word detoxification, but it's really kind of like just clearing out energy and stagnation in all of these areas. So we're going to inhale at the center and then exhale. We'll just do a couple of normal inhales and exhales first. Looking up and then exhale, curling forward, tucking the chin slightly in. And then inhale and exhale. This time as we inhale, let's turn to the left. Now, as we come to the center, let's exhale the sound of the lungs. It's like a TSSSS. And then inhale over to the right. And as we come to the center, exhale. Now inhale again to the left. This time the kidney sound is choo. So CHWOOO. And then inhale over to the right and exhale. And inhale. This time the liver is shh. So inhaling and then exhale. Shh. Inhale to the right and exhale. Shh. Inhaling, the next is the sound of the heart, which is HAAA. It's a so inhaling and then inhale to the right. And then inhale. Next is the sound of spleen, which is HWHOOA. So to the back of the throat. Inhale, like you're trying to fog up a window. And then the last one is HEEE, which is the triple burner. So inhale, and then inhale, center, and a few just normal inhales and exhales at the center. And last inhale, last exhale. And then drop the arms down. Let's just pause here for a moment. You can close the eyes. Okay, now let's do some cleansing and clearing. So arms up by the sides, nice inhale, and then exhale, drop the arms. One comes in front, one in back. So we inhale center and then turn and twist. So we inhale to the center and then exhale as we twist. Think about creating some space right between the shoulder blades for opening up the areas that tend to get a little tighter, the head, neck, and shoulders, even through the lower rib cage. And let's start to slow down, come back to center. That already feels good. And a little bit of releasing for the lower back. Let's do picking cherries. So let's start with bending the knees slightly. So we're kind of grounding down. Figure the tailbone reaching down towards the earth. So a little bit of a tucking the tailbone down and then bringing the arms above and then reaching up first with the left, pressing down through the feet and then coming down and then pressing down to the foot as we reach up with the right hand and then down. So nice and slowly, just think of like reaching up and creating a nice long line from the arm all the way down to the foot. It's really good to release. It's very gentle, but pretty effective way of releasing the lower back. So we're just creating a nice stretch along the lumbar region all the way through the rib cage. I did this that we had a long flight going to California. It's a 6 hour flight from going from New Jersey to California, but we were stuck on the plane because there were some issues with the laboratories. So we were on the plane for 7.5 hours. So afterwards, something like this is really good to do, just decompressing, being very gentle. Inhaling as we stretch up and then exhale back down. And trying to create a little symmetry. So you might notice one side is a little bit tighter, where we are trying to create a little bit more balance. And then bring the arms down to the side, spreading the palms, and let's press the palms towards the earth. Let the head tilt over to the left. And then let's do some gentle head rolls back towards the back of the shoulder and then towards the front of the shoulder. And then on the next exhale, let the head roll forward and then over to the opposite shoulder. And then again, head rolls to the back of the shoulder on the inhale and exhale to the front. And then let the head roll forward again, the arms drop down. So let's bring the feet together. We're going to go through some swimming dragon poses and movements, but with the feet closer together. So let's start with the palms together so that your fingers are facing up. And then, so remember, the hands come across laterally. So think about like the horizon line. So we're going to start first right at the heart center. And the hands are going to move across the body over to the right. And as we do that, the hips bounce over to the left, and then you turn and look left. So think of the head and hips moving in one direction, and then the hands moving in the opposite direction. And then you're going to inhale to the center, and now over to the opposite. So head looks right, hips over to the right, hands to the left. Hopefully I said that correctly. So head and hips move in the same direction, and then the hands come across in the opposite direction. And then we just inhale to the center and exhale as we turn and look in the opposite direction as the hands. So we're creating a little bit of, it's almost like a twist, right? We're helping to improve the mobility of the joints of the shoulders, but we're creating a little bit of a a gentle squeeze. This is really a great exercise for circulation. We're nice and slow. So think about slowing the exhale. And if we're slowing the exhale, we're slowing the movement if we're moving on the breath. So the knees are bent and we're just moving the hips in one direction and the arms and hands in the opposite. And now let's come to the center, keeping the knees nice and bent. We're going to go into that snake movement. So we'll start hands right in front of the chest, and we're just moving. Think about moving the spine in this S formation. And then bringing the hands as we continue to move the spine, the hands come up in front of the forehead. And then we move the hands higher and higher. Let me come over here so I don't hit the ceiling. And then we come all the way up. So stretching the hands up, then come to the balls of the feet. The point on the first point of the kidney channel, raising the bubbling spring. Nice inhale, and then exhale back to the center. And we'll do that one more time, that full sequence. So nice inhale, and the hands move over to the right as the hips and head turn left. And then inhale to the center. And then now turning and looking over the right shoulder. As we're moving, if you think about everything that's moving here, we're moving energy through the center of the chest, the back of the shoulders, the solar plexus, the hips, right? And also the head and neck. So it's a great movement and stretch to get some energy flowing and mobility through all of these spaces. And then come to the center, keeping the knees bent, and then moving the spine. Almost like we're doing a little like snake charming dance. And then bringing the hands up in front of the face. And then arms reach up through the center. And now pointing the hands up towards the ceiling, coming to the balls of the feet. Nice inhale. And then exhale. All right, let's shake everything out now. Take the legs out, shake the arms. Let's do some pumping action before we go into our flows. So we're going to be doing a few more balance related flows today. Which are really great to help strengthen the legs, helping the brain and body connection. I mean, balance poses are really great in general. Helps prevent falls, right? The more we feel balanced, moving through life, feeling that we're stable. And let's start to slow down. Okay, so the first flow is Rooster Stands on one foot. So we'll start with the palms facing the earth. Find our center, our connection to the earth below us. And then we're going to shift the weight over to the left foot. And as we do, we're going to raise the right knee and arm simultaneously on the inhale. And as we exhale, we'll slowly drop that foot back down and then roll to the ball of the foot and then to the heel. And then shift the weight over now to the right, lifting the knee and arm of the left as we inhale, and then very slowly coming back down to the center. So we're moving, think about gliding over and then extending and reaching up on the inhale through the crown of the head, and then coming back down slowly as we bend the knees slightly as we sink back towards the center, and then shifting the weight over. Inhaling and exhaling and shifting. Think about a pendulum, right? We're just sinking down and then raising up and then sinking down, gliding over, standing tall. And you don't necessarily have to bring your knee way up. You can even come to the tippy toes of that foot, right? You're still the weight is still on the opposite foot, and then come back down to the center. So the goal, right, is really just to shift the weight. So if you want to bring the knee all the way up, think about the elbow and the knee being connected. Then you can bring them further up. Otherwise, even coming to the tippy toes of that foot is totally fine. Whatever feels good for you. Is actually building strength in that standing foot and leg. Now let's come to the center, to our chi ball for a moment. Take a few rounds of inhales and exhales. The next flow is similar. We've done this before, but it has a couple more parts to it. So what we'll start with, it's an extension of one of the bird Frolics series. We start with flying. So we're just going to inhale and raise the arms up to about shoulder height. And then we exhale and they float back down. But the next inhale, we're going to inhale the arms all the way up. And then exhale all the way down. So we inhale halfway. That's part A. And then exhale back down. And then part B, we go all the way up. And then exhale back down. And then inhale. Excuse me. And exhale. Inhale all the way up. We'll do this a few more times before we add on the legs. Just allow yourself to feel this pulsation as we inhale and exhale, and then inhale all the way up. Nice, relaxed arms. Think about floating those arms up and then exhaling as they float back down. And then inhale, float all the way up. Okay, now this time, as we inhale the arms halfway up, shift the weight over to the left foot, and that right heel and foot is going to come towards the back of the room. So as we come halfway up, bend the knee, and almost like you're kicking the back of the room. And then exhale back down. So we're going to go that same side, but this time as we raise the arms all the way up, you're going to bring the knee in front. So think about as the arms come up, we inhale that knee in front, and then we come back down. Now to the opposite side, shift the weight over to the right, excuse me, and then the left foot comes and kicks back as the arms come up halfway. And then we come back down, same side, and the knee comes up in front as the arms come all the way up. So it's the part A and part B to each side. So shifting the weight over to the left, part A, we kick back halfway up. And then the B part of that, come back to that same foot, but now the knee comes in front as the arms come all the way up. This is really great, right, for exercising the brain. Shifting the weight over now. Bend the knee and the foot comes back. Arms halfway up. And now that same knee comes in front. So we inhale the arms all the way up. So we'll do this several times. So I'm going to be a little more quiet so that you can get into the flow. Just think of halfway up as we kick back, and then all the way up as the knee comes in front. And smoothing out the edges. So just making this as smooth as possible, the transitions. And we can achieve that by kind of loosening things up. Think about moving through water. You know, I love that metaphor, right? There's that certain flowiness and graceful quality, right? As we're moving through this field. And last one. Let's do the opposite side and round this out. Now on the next exhale, let's bring the feet back to the center. The arms come down. Let's go into our chi ball and then pulse it for a moment. And now let's have the left hand on top and right hand on the bottom. So still pulsing that chi ball, but the hands are on top of one another rather than side by side. And now we're going to take that right arm and extend it out in front of us and bringing it all the way up right in front of the forehead. And look at your hand for a moment and see that space between your index finger and your thumb. The tiger's mouth is what we call that. So that space should be right in front of the forehead. And then on the exhale, that hand is going to come all the way down. And then we'll switch. So now the left arm comes out, comes up right in front of the forehead, that tiger's mouth, and then exhale it back down. So we're just going to take a few moments. This is churning the wheel. So inhale, make a big circle forward, and then coming back up and in, and then exhale. And then inhale and exhale. And think about as that arm, now the right arm reaches forward, you're actually extending that right hip forward a little bit. So there's that connection, right, from the center. Inhale. And as the hip draws back in, the arm pulls back in. And then exhale down. So we're working out with this center line. In Chinese medicine, this center line is called the Ren channel, REN, and it's translated as the conception vessel. And while it does have a relationship to, conceiving in terms of, a baby, it also has a relationship to conception in terms of ideas, right? And we start at the space right in front of the forehead. The pineal gland sits at that level in the brain where ideas and intuition come from, right? And then as we descend through the throat, right, we talk about our ideas and how we can manifest them. And then we descend through the heart and lungs, what we're passionate about and what inspires us through the solar plexus area, right? That space that is all about activation and taking action. And then all the way down to the abdomen, which is associated with the physical, like actual manifestation of our ideas into something that's either tangible or you can actually bring forth into the world as we know it. So the next time that hand comes up, let's pause. So whatever arm, whatever hand is up, that's fine, but let's pause so that the tiger's mouth is in front of the third eye. Just thinking about and feeling how ideas start percolating, where intuition comes from. Like feeding and paying attention to the ideas that start to percolate. Sometimes they come seemingly out of nowhere. And then we descend just to the throat, in front of the throat, right? This is not a large area compared to other parts of the body, but this is a major energetic center. This is how we wear and how we communicate, we verbalize, we talk. Talking about these ideas. And then exhale in front of the heart center. How these ideas are infused or inspired by our passions, what brings us joy, what fuels us emotionally. Down to the solar plexus area. This is the solar plexus, solar meaning sun. It's very yang, which is all about action, taking those steps. And then exhaling all the way down to the lower abdomen, right? Associated with the physical, actual manifestation. And now let's continue to turn. Actually, let's do that one more time in the opposite hand now. So let's pause right in front of the third eye again. Maybe there are some ideas that have percolated in the past that you've maybe forgotten about or didn't really pay attention to, or some new ideas that are about to spring forth. And then exhale down to the throat center. How we start verbalizing and talking about these ideas with each other or ourselves. Generating some energy to propel that forward. And then exhale down to the heart. Right? What we're passionate about tends to generate some momentum. The why. And then down to the solar plexus area. Right? What we can do to take, even if it's small steps, take action in how to start taking these ideas and then making them real into this world. And then exhale down to the physical body, the abdomen. And then let's just turn that wheel now, inhaling and then exhale. And these ideas might be more personal to you, it might be more community based, it might be more globally based. But what kind of ideas do we want to put our energy and fuel? And one more inhale. Let's come back to that chi ball as we bring the feet together. Drop the arms down, and then let's inhale the arms all the way up, and then exhale. And then inhale and exhale. And one last time, let's take a nice big inhale. And then let's bring our hands to that lower abdomen. And then let's pause here before we conclude. And then when you're ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thank you, everyone. It was good to be back. I missed you all. So did Willie.
I missed you.
And
We missed
we'll
you
see
too.
you. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Bye-bye.